Yeah, sorry, I haven't done some videos on the channel now for about 10 days. Feels like a long time. It's probably not that long. Just been busy at the moment, spending a lot of time with family and friends, which is good. So this is a subject that I wanted to cover for a long time. I've been meaning to talk about this, and I actually need to talk about this more. And that's what isolation is really not good for your mental health. I can speak from personal experience. I can also speak from the experience of, mentoring and coaching a lot of clients over the years. But basically, I guess coaching them out of that place and into a more positive place. And also just, like everybody else, learning from, learning from other people, looking at society and the things that are really affecting people and the things that really help you. And I would say, not to generalize, but especially for men, I think men of all ages tend to isolate themselves a lot more than women do. And I think a lot of the time it comes back to our male pride, our ego. We struggle with that a lot. And that's not good because, like I've said before, and I've said on this title, it doesn't make you a weak person to socialize and spend time with family and friends or get the help and support that you need and deserve. It doesn't make you weak, it actually makes you strong. And I think a lot of these things that us men have been taught, whether someone has told us these things or whether we pick these things up from a young age, sometimes the pressure we have, with our peers, with other men or our friends, that can play a part. But so I'm not blaming anybody with this, but I'm explaining, the kind of reasons why men struggle at times to socialize and to get out of isolation. As I said, I know the mindset because I've been through this many times in my life, especially in my 20s. I know the sort of thought pattern, the anxiety, the conversation, and a large part of anxiety and depression and intrusive thoughts, and also, suicidal thoughts is telling you to stay alone, and to bottle things up because that would be a better option. But actually, in my experience, it's never a good option. So, if any of you are going through that at the moment, I'd really encourage you to, spend time with your family. Sometimes it's not even always a case where you might not even always need to get professional help, from a doctor or a therapist or a mentor like myself. Sometimes you do need that, but sometimes you just need to go out with friends and have a good time and take your mind off of overthinking, worrying, and getting down. So basically, it's kind of a simple thing, but like I said, when you're on your own and you're isolating, it can feel really, really complicated. As I've said, I speak from personal experience, going through this quite a lot of times, and obviously, we all went through this in the lockdown, and we've seen the effects that had on mental health. So I really do try to encourage all of you, or anybody that's struggling, to break out of that cycle of isolation. And when you break that cycle of isolation, it's scary at first, especially if you've been in a habit of being isolated for a long time. But when you do it, you feel so good, and you realize that there are a lot of good people. Your friends and your family, really love you and care about you. And then you're in a position to care about yourself more. And then you can experience the value that you've got. So yeah, this is probably going to be a theme that I'm going to be spending quite a lot of time on. I can't really think of a more important theme, and this is quite still a difficult thing for me to talk about, but I know it will help a lot of people. And I've lost a friend to suicide last year, and it really affected me, and seeing how it can affect millions of people around the world. So you can save your life, and we could save the lives of a lot of people by not isolating and being on your own too long. Because even years ago, I remember a friend saying to me, a Christian friend, we were talking about, we were having a good time, we're having food, we were talking about faith, we were talking about, life, business, sports. And I remember him saying to me, you know, it's not good for me or anyone. Don't matter. It doesn't matter how strong you are. It doesn't matter what you've got in life. It doesn't matter about your title. We're all human at the end of the day, and none of us are designed to be on our own all the time with our minds. It's a dangerous place to be. So that's why I've said before, being social, you know, going to the gym, you know, working on your business, or, you know, spending time with family, friends, or getting the help that you need. And when you do that, you start to feel better. And then you can spend, obviously, you can spend some time on your own, because obviously there is a balance. It's nice, like I like spending time on my own after spending a lot of time with friends and family, because that's kind of different. It's a different relationship, if that makes sense. I think a lot of you will understand what I'm saying. But yeah, you know, I still struggle to talk about this subject, because I think a lot of people do. But, you know, I think I'm not an expert on suicide, but I've experienced suicidal thoughts myself. I've lost a friend to suicide. I know a lot of you, I know tragically, have probably lost someone close to you to suicide, and it happens all around the world. Most of suicide happens from people isolating themselves away from other people. And as I said, a big part of the conversation is, and it's not people, it's the anxiety that other people won't understand. They won't understand your problems, or you're too scared to tell people about your intrusive thoughts, what you're going through. But people do understand, for two reasons. Number one, because most of us have been through this at some point. Most people have, you know, been through anxiety, depression, loneliness. I'm going to get to your question. Good to see you. I've got 5 on it. I find sending time to myself is a lot less taxing than going out making an effort. That's my biggest issue. Well, that's what I've said before. You know, you got to be mindful of how deceiving and how tricky the anxiety can be, because the anxiety can often tell you, you know, the thoughts or your own fears can often tell you that it's a better option to push everybody away. And I think it's never a good option to do that. Just the fact of you telling yourself that, which is not really, just the fact of your own mind telling you that it's a better option for you to push your friends and your family away and people away, because that's kind of what happens when people isolate. People don't want to be around people, especially people that they love dearly, that are close to them, because they're scared that if they put themselves around people, it's going to trigger their anxiety and make it worse, but it won't in the long run. And in the worst case scenario, if it does do that, you know, that would be better, because then you're going to get to a good place. So isolation, in my experience, for long periods of time is never good. Aside of if you are actually, you know, not going through anxiety and depression, and you're just spending time on your own, and of course there's nothing wrong with that. That's completely healthy. How you doing there? But like I said, I speak from personal experience. Isolation is related to porn addiction. Do you think it's a negative cycle? Yeah, well, that could be one of the reasons. Yeah, I mean, because everyone's got their own reasons. I would say again, it could be different for everyone, but I think the root cause of isolation is obviously poor mental health. You know, depression, anxiety, as you said, porn addiction. It could be all those things people go through. You know, drugs, alcohol, pornography. You know, all sorts of things cause people problems in life. We go through stuff, having a breakup, you know, someone, a divorce, a marriage. All these things affect us. We're all human. You know, financial, all the stresses. So whatever your reasons are, whatever your stresses are, because we've all got our own reasons, it doesn't really matter the reason in the premise of what I'm trying to explain today. The main point is, don't stay on your own, because it's not good to be on your own when you're struggling. It really isn't. And, you know, I'm never afraid to say this to my clients. You know, I can't stay on my own for long periods of time, because I get my mental health starts to suffer. I start to get into negative places, and your mind takes over. Even for people that might be in a great place right now, that are really happy and things are going well, which is great, it's not healthy to spend a lot of time on your own. And usually, if you look at people, and this is not, I'm not saying don't judge and compare because that don't help. But if you look at people that are quite happy in life at the moment, it's usually people that are not isolated. You know, they're around their friends and family, or they're socializing, they're traveling. So, you know, it's breaking out of that pattern, that cycle, as you said. And I think that's something that you got to do daily until it becomes more of a routine. Yeah, I'm really glad that I'm glad that I spoke on this today, because it feels good to speak on this and help more people, as I said. And I think this is one of the major problems, is sometimes it's not easy to have this conversation. You know, I'm sure a lot of you appreciate it's not easy for me to talk about this today, because as I said, it brings up a lot of stress and sadness, but I'd rather go through that and help more people, you know, as opposed to keeping it in and not speaking about some of these matters. How do I think about the lone wolf now these days? I've got to be honest with you, and again, um, everyone has got to sort of do what they feels right for them. I don't agree on it today. I don't agree on this mentality. And if it works for people, that's great. But I don't agree on this mentality of people punishing themselves and saying that they're being a lone wolf. I know why they do it, so I'm not judging people or criticizing them, because I've also done it as well. But from my experience, and I'm still learning. Obviously, you learn in life. It's not good. It's not good for people. It doesn't matter what age they are, as I said. Whether for men, for women, for the older people, for younger. Spending long time on your own never really ends in a good place mentally. And I'll say this, even if you've got millions of pounds, you know, I've had friends that have had, you know, that have made millions of pounds, and, you know, they've gotten into a very bad place mentally because they've isolated themselves away. So it doesn't matter about money, you know, money, what's that? The spider. Money's got no value if you've got terrible mental health and you've got no one to share it with and you're on your own. So I think sometimes we've got to break these barriers and talk about the things that get in the way for people. And again, this is just some experience from my own life. I've had a fair amount of money, right? I've never had millions of pounds, but that's not really been my aim. The point is, I've had a lot of money and been okay in that area, but I've been really depressed because I've been in isolation, and obviously we all went through that in COVID. So whether you've got a lot of money or not, or whether you've got a lot of nice clothes, or whether you're living in a big apartment or you're living in a shoebox, none of it really matters if you're not in a good place mentally. So it really is important for people to understand the negative consequences of spending too much time in isolation with their own mind. Let's get some questions. So when you first started to be vulnerable and being totally honest, did it feel really weird, like you were outside of your comfort zone in a sense? Yeah, it's really scary for me. You know, the same. I'm human, same like everybody, and sometimes it's still uncomfortable, but it feels better afterwards. And people are good. You know, there's a lot of goodness in people. Most people are good. So for me, when I started to be more honest and vulnerable, especially in this area, especially when I was going through my own struggles, I was proud of myself for having the courage, and then things started to get better for me, you know, and I got the help, or I spent time with family. And I think that's the thing a lot of us have. We got these fears that we're scared to be vulnerable with our friends and family, because we think that, you know, we think that they might reject us or we might upset them. But when you're that sincere, usually it's never the case. People are really good, and then you get into a better place and you break out of isolation. You know, another good tip that can help people. Anyone, even those of you that don't know me, that are new to this channel, anyone right now that's in isolation, pick up the phone and speak to a friend or family. That's better than nothing. I mean, it would be better to get around people in person, But if you can't do that at the moment, get on the phone. And I've done that many times. I've got on the phone to my mum and it's made me feel a lot better. Or I've phoned my dad, or I've got on a call with a friend. And I've done this for clients, and I've encouraged them to do it. And then you feel a lot better when you do that. But like I said, I am compassionate. I do understand. It's really difficult. But when you've been isolating for 6 months or a year, it feels so uncomfortable and stressful, quite painful, to break out of that and to start going to the gym and getting some help and support, meeting up with friends, because you've got in that habit of kind of just having a routine of waking up in the morning, avoiding people, and doing what you're doing. But you can break it one day at a time. It is a habit, and you will get there, and you will feel better when you start experiencing relief, more positive emotions, and just being in a better place mentally. And if you look at some examples of, for example, I like to use Tyson Fury as an example, because Tyson Fury is someone who's been at rock bottom, who's been suicidal, and and had all these issues we're talking about today, and he's got the help and he overcame it. So if Tyson Fury can go through these things, there's no shame and embarrassment that any of us can go through this, and there's hope that you can overcome it, which you can. So you get well and you get confident and you get in a better place mentally by getting around people. And then that becomes a habit in and of itself. That will become normal over time. And then it won't be normal for you in a positive way to distance yourself from people. And I've got friends, I've also got friends in the coaching industry, or friends that are in the property industry or business, and they coach clients in different areas of life, whether it's on how to make money or how to overcome anxiety or business or whatever, all these different areas of life. And they've said to me, I've got a client at the moment that's going through depression or feeling suicidal. And the problem that they're facing at the moment is they're isolating themselves. So I've taken them out for dinner to get them out, get them out for the day, and it made them feel good. Let's get some questions. What's your name? Sorry, Ice. I can't read your full name, but start off with Ice. I heard someone said you need to change the environment first, then you can change your mind. If this is the case, if you force yourself to be social first, even if you don't want to do it. Absolutely, yeah. I know it's not a nice word to use, and it's not a word I think a lot of us don't like, because it has a lot of stress on it, like force. And we could change that word and have a better meaning. But yeah, sometimes you got to force yourself to socialize, because if you don't, then things are going to get worse for you. Or you could, find a different way of encouraging yourself. I like to use the word encourage, but I don't have a problem with people saying that word. But it can stress you out. Words can have effects on people. So what I try to do with my clients, and I try to do it myself as well, I always try to say, look, don't put pressure on yourself, and I'm not forcing you to go to the gym, or I'm not forcing you to go and spend time with your family or your friends, but I'm encouraging you to take one step at a time at doing those things, but do it in your own time. See, it's a difficult one, because if someone's in isolation and they've got suicidal thoughts, please God they haven't, but some people can, and they're depressed and they're really struggling. If I say to them, well, just socialize when you feel like it, they may not do that, and then they're going to get worse, and then we're all going to feel bad. We're all human. I'm the same. I'm going to feel guilty and upset that I didn't encourage the person more. And I think that's what we struggle with a lot. We've got to work on that, is guilt. A lot of people who are in isolation feel guilty for asking their parents or their friends or, you know, me, the person in your community, for some help. And you've got to get over that by being brave, as we spoke earlier, and speaking up. Basically, what I'm trying to say is we don't want to get to the point where someone has to get to the point where they're suicidal and they're really mentally unwell before they get help. Now, obviously, the reality is some people, when that's going to happen, right? I wish I could save and help everyone, and we're all trying to do that, but we're trying to prevent that. But for those of you that are in that place, you know, as Tyson Fury says, please get some help ASAP, and then you'll start getting better. So yeah, confidence comes from, you know, I realized this the other day, there's many ways to build confidence, but a big way of building confidence is just by spending time with people that you love. What's up, Frank? Good to see you, mate. Feels like it's been about a year. What's it probably been now? It's probably been a few months. I mean, I said it to a friend recently, right? And again, I don't mean this to be negative to any of you, because I understand. My friend was asking about how is my events going. I said, well, at the moment, usually when I do events, loads of people show up, and it's great. But recently, when I've put events on, even the events are free. You know, these events I'm not charging any money for. No one's showing up, and to be honest, I didn't take it personal. You know, I didn't see it as a rejection, as I'm being rejected. But my friend was saying, "Why do you think it is?" And I said, "Because a lot of people are very, very scared of meeting up with people because they're going through a bad time. They're isolating, and there's a lot of stress at the moment. You know, especially with people spending too much time on social media. So I can even see the difference in, you know, the amount of people that I've been getting to my events compared to before. Now, before, there were times where I was like, well, I want to do the events, but I don't want too many people coming because, you know, sometimes it's a bit stressful for me because I do like helping people, as a lot of you know, but sometimes organizing my events can be quite stressful when, you know, I don't have a big team, which I'm trying to work on in the future. So I can do bigger events, help more people and get more people together, you know, get people out the house and get them around good people. So we, you know, keep it, like my dad says, keep it simple so we can have a coffee and you can talk, we can have a nice time. You know, we don't always have to talk about anxiety, depression, mental health, social anxiety. Sometimes talking about those things can get you down. Obviously, everything in balance. So Frank says, I've been busy working on my goals. Hope you're going well. No, I appreciate that. Now, you seem like you've got the consistency, Frank. I'm pleased that you're sticking with it. The last couple of live streams, and from what you've told me, I sense that you're making a lot of progress, which is great. Do you think using medicine at the start for social anxiety? You know, I'm going to say on medication. I can't tell anybody to take medication or not because I'm not a doctor and I'm not an expert on medication. But what I can say is, from my own experience, I've used medication when I needed it and it did help me. And there were times in my life where I didn't use medication and I was able to get into a good place. So I think you've really got to do what's best for you. I would say, you know, get some advice from people that are around you, see what they say. But ultimately, you're your own person. You've got to make a decision. And again, everyone's going to have their opinion. Some people online are going to say medication is a negative, and I can understand that. Other people are going to say, no, it's positive. It depends on the situation. So it wouldn't be right for me to say, yes, you should take medication. No, you shouldn't, because I don't know. I don't know anything about you, and obviously I'm talking to you on a live stream. So I hope that helps. I know for me, I was always very frightened of medication, and as a kid growing up, so I didn't take it straight away until this was back in 2017 when I had a mental health breakdown and I was in hospital, and I was really struggling, you know, with psychosis, with anxiety, depression. So I decided that I needed to take some medication, and my dad recommended that I probably should, and I built up some trust with the doctors, and I decided, okay, I'll give it a go, and it did help me. But once I got to a good place again, and I came off the medication, and I didn't need it anymore. So again, look, that's what worked for me, but for some people that might not be the case. I think Tyson Fury, from what I remember, I could be wrong, I don't think he took medication. I think he was given medication. He didn't take it. So look, different things work for different people at different times. I think that's one of the key things that you've always got to try to be mindful of. Even from the advice that I give all of you, I'm doing the best I can to help you, but it's not 100% that it's going to work for you. So you've got to find what works for you. But I think one thing that we can all agree on that definitely works for people is not isolating if they're going through mental health or anxiety, depression. And I would also say, even for people who don't have a quote unquote mental health problem, isolating yourself for long periods of time is not good anyway. It's lonely. I don't think anybody enjoys being on their own all the time. Yeah, a random one. Fury losing to Usyk. Yeah, my thoughts have kind of changed as time's gone on. As you know, Frank, I'm a big Fury fan. I really love Fury. For me, whether Fury loses or not, I love him as a person. I'm always going to support him. I thought it was a great fight. Personally, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and I expect that. I thought Tyson Fury, I thought he won, but it was a close fight, and Usyk, I can't knock him. He's a great fighter, and in a lot of people's eyes, Usyk won, and I understand that. But when I scored the rounds and watched it back, I thought Tyson Fury won. I thought that he won enough of the earlier rounds and a couple of the rounds, but it was a very close fight, and well done to Usyk. I hope Fury can win the rematch. But yeah, it was a great fight, man. These guys are unbelievable mental strength, and I like Usyk a lot, I like both of them. But yeah, I'm a big Fury fan, so I was disappointed at the time. I'm not going to lie. I was a bit depressed for a couple of days. I was down. It did upset. It did break my heart a bit. But that's boxing. That's life, man. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, as Tyson says, it's just a boxing match. As long as they're safe, they've got their family. No one got seriously hurt. Hopefully, we can get the rematch and Fury can win. Let's see. What did you think, Frank? What did you have? Who did you have winning the fight, Usyk or Fury? I think well, look, again, everyone's opinions are different online, and I think what won the fight for Usyk was the ninth round, because Usyk won in such emphatic fashion, and there's all that, the whole emphasis on Fury nearly getting knocked down, and the fight should have been stopped, which I didn't agree on, because Fury, he didn't quit and he recovered, and we know from Fury's history. So I think that really kind of changed perception of the fight. I think it happened now. If that ninth round didn't go that way, I think Fury would have got the fight pretty clearly, in my opinion. But it didn't, and Usyk's, I don't know how he does it, but I don't know how he does it. He just finds a way. He always finds a way to win. So can't knock Usyk. I probably should have done a video on it, but I didn't want to do a video at the time, because sometimes there's a lot of negativity online. I don't like getting involved in that. It's not good for your mental health either. When I watched it again, Fury landed more effective shots in the early rounds, but the last I gave it to Usyk. Yeah, I can see that. Usyk throughout the fight, Usyk Usyk definitely landed the sort of more hurtful, harder single shots, but I still feel Fury won on boxing. But that's one of the hard things today in boxing, that the rules they're hard to define. But purely on boxing, I thought at the start, I thought Fury was boxing him easy. He even said it himself. But I think Fury got too complacent, and obviously he's admitted it now. He shouldn't have done that. He should have showed Usyk more respect and not messed around. But shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's done now. That's the result. But yeah, looking back, I thought Fury. I just felt like Fury should have done a Lennox Lewis or a Mike Tyson. He should have went for the knockout when he got Usyk hurt, especially with that beautiful uppercut. I don't know. They're both amazing. I don't know how Usyk recovered from those shots. It's just a testament to his character. And I don't know how Fury got through that ninth round and recovered, which a lot of people are not really giving credit for. How did Fury recover and win some of the rounds, some of the back end? But yeah, tactically, I thought the tactics overall from Fury weren't the right tactics. You guys get me started now. I said I wasn't going to speak on it, and I can't stop speaking. Cheers, Frank. It's your fault. I'm only joking. But yeah, I just felt tactically Fury shouldn't have been backing off. He should have been going forward, being the bigger man. But again, credit to Usyk. But I wasn't surprised though when a lot of people were saying to me things like, "Oh, Usyk might win, but he can't knock Fury out." I was like, no, anybody could be knocked out. I wasn't surprised. I knew that Usyk could knock Fury out, and Fury could knock Usyk out because he's a top fighter, and he's not that small. He's big enough. So I wasn't surprised that Fury got hurt. I was kind of expecting it. But all the great champions in heavyweight history, they've all got losses. Like, why is it when it's dumb today? A fighter loses one fight, and everybody says, "Oh, he's rubbish. He's no good." It's just not true. Tyson lost fights, Ali lost fights, Lennox Lewis lost fights, but they come back strong. Holyfield lost, really, but they come back stronger. Joshua's lost. So it's only one loss, and it was a close fight. It could have gone either way, even on the score. So it's all about how you come back, and Fury's always come back stronger, And I don't think there's any shame to losing. There's no shame to losing to Usyk. He's a great fighter. Yeah, it's crazy today. I mean, not all people, but the mindset of a lot of people today in all the generations is, oh, he lost, oh, he's not good, he's not a real deal, he's a fraud. It's like he's not a fraud. He's not. He's a champion. Champions lose, and anybody can lose. There's not many fighters that retire undefeated. Mayweather's won, Rocky Marciano, Andre Ward, Joe Kawasaki. So most fighters don't do that. So we can't judge every fighter on Floyd Mayweather's record, or Rocky Marciano, or Andre Ward. So far, Usyk might do it. Let's see. So just because someone loses, it doesn't mean they're rubbish. We could apply that same thing for mental health. Someone has a bad day. Oh, they're a loser. They're depressed. And it's like, no, that's not true. That thinking is absurd. Anybody can be beat. Anybody, If they fight long enough, they'll get beat eventually. It's how you come back, and it's what they're doing the same with Wilder. It's like, oh, he's rubbish. It's like, he's not rubbish. He's no good. It's like, well, how many people become heavyweight champion? You can't say that. Oh, he was never that good. Oh, because oh man, where do you start? And people that say that, it's like, no disrespect to you, but how would you feel? What have you achieved in your life? Be careful with how bloody judgmental you are, because you wouldn't say that to Wilder's face. You get in the ring with him then and see how long you last. But I suppose it's human nature. We all do it. We all do it, and I'm guilty of it as well. We judge people when they have a bad day or they lose. And that's probably why it's not good to put anyone on a pedestal, but just to appreciate people. Of course, you can have your opinion and say, well, you know, I prefer Anthony Joshua, or I prefer Fury, or I like this fighter. But you don't have to hate the person, you know, because they lose. And that's what we've got a lot of today, which is probably contributing to so much mental health and isolation, is the hatred. Personally, for me, yeah, I've I just love great fighters. I've loved watching all Mayweather's fights, and he's just amazing. One of the greats of all time, arguably, probably on boxing, the best boxer that I've ever watched. But there's fighters that could have been. But I also love fighters that come back. I love Manny Pacquiao. You know, I don't give a damn. I don't care that Manny Pacquiao has lost how many fights? 7 or 8 fights. I don't care. I love him. Look at what he achieved. Look at the fights that he won. Look at how he did it. That's all that matters to me. Look at the kind of person that he is. But I think a lot of people don't think like this today. They don't think, oh, that person's a good person, or, you know, appreciate that they're human. That no one's perfect. Just because someone's a boxer and they're heavyweight and they've got money, they're a human being. They're still a person. They've got family. So this way of thinking is very, very naive and destructive. But, you know, I can't blame every generation, because that's what they're being taught. And if you don't understand that and you're just believing that, then you're going to go with that. You know, people do it today online. It doesn't affect me as much because I've been through a lot. But they say, oh, they do it to everyone, not just me. Oh, you're shit, you're rubbish, your channel's only got so many views, or your videos. But it's like, well, I'm not really looking at it like that. I'm not looking at it from an egotistical standpoint. I'm looking at it from just, you know, want to do positive things and enjoying it and appreciating it. And if the video gets 10 views, but I enjoy doing it, I feel good about it, and it helps someone, that's success. You've done a good thing. If the video gets 1 million hits, brilliant. But whether it does or it doesn't, it's kind of just appreciating the whole premise of making a YouTube video, and, you know, and enjoying it and helping people. But this mindset, I don't think this mindset comes natural to a lot of people. But there are a lot of people out there, like a lot of you, who have got that mindset, and I appreciate that. So for me personally, I don't care how many views someone's got. If I like someone and they're a good person, I follow their channel and I support them. I don't look at it and think, oh, you know what? Oh, they've only got 500 subscribers and I've got more than them. Or, you know, they're not as famous as some of my other people that I look up to, and so they don't have any value. I don't think like that. I go by character. Now, if someone's got millions of followers and I think, well, I don't really like their attitude, I don't like the way they're treating people, I'm not going to follow them. But I'm not going to go online and start saying hateful things about them. I'm not going to do that. It's a waste of life. So, you know, I think all these things can really affect your mental health in a positive or negative way. So yeah, back to the topic of isolation. And I've lost count of the amount of people that have said it. You know, I watch podcast shows online, they're talking about it. You know, I talk with my dad, friends, family, clients a lot. I know all of you are saying it. If you spend too much time at home on social media, you get down, you know, because you're not with real people in real time. So there is a balance. If you spend a couple of hours, you can really enjoy it because you've got that right balance. You know, you're going out, you're getting some sunlight, you're going for coffee with friends, or you're going to work, you're going to the gym, and then when you finish your day, you feel good, you feel productive. You know, the gym that I go to, there's a little bit of a community there. You know, I get to know people there, I have a conversation, I work out, I have a chat. You know, you have a sauna, you have a steam, you do your workout, you get to know people there. And then when I come home, I feel better. I don't feel alone. because you've been out the house for a few hours, or or if I go to work, mentor a client, finish that, go and meet a friend, spend the whole day have a coffee, you feel so much better. Your mind just feels more healthy, and you don't have all those negative thoughts in your head, and you don't have that horrible feeling of doom and gloom. And then you can go online and watch entertainment or boxing or follow your favorite YouTube channels and not feel depressed. So it's about balance is key. I always come back to Mr. Miyagi from the Karate Kid. Balance is key. Any more questions? Sorry there, guys. I'm thirsty. Let me see if there's some more water. In a second, I'll be back. I just get so dehydrated here. Sorry, I'm out of water there. But yeah, as I said, I've kind of just said most of it. Let's read this. Right, Charlotte. Is voluntary isolation always detrimental to mental health, or can it be beneficial in certain situations? That's a good question, and I think you're right. And I struggle sometimes to explain that on a live stream. It's a lot easier if I'm with my friends or clients in person. And I think that's where, balance comes in and doing what's right for you. So yeah, there is a distinction, Charlotte, between taking some healthy time out on your own because you need it. Let me give you an example, right? I'll try and give an example from my life at a certain point. Now, let's say in 2018, I went through a mental health breakdown after, having a great life. And I went for a stage where I needed some time on my own. I come out of hospital, I had a lot of support, but I really needed just to be away from people because I was anxious. I had really bad social anxiety. I was in a vulnerable place. So having some time on my own really helped me to recover, and I just could rest. I couldn't work. So I just, I just ate what I wanted. Probably wouldn't recommend that for a lot of you, but I just allowed myself, to eat kind of what I wanted, watch boxing, lay down, sleep. I'd go out for a walk. But yeah, I couldn't be around people too much, and my family were understanding, so it wasn't personal. I couldn't be around family too much because I was really anxious. I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't really meet up with friends as much. I couldn't do a lot of things. So yeah, for a period of time I did that, and it helped me. And then I decided, right, now I'm ready. I'm going to start the gym. I'm going to start meeting up, with my mum, see my dad, start meeting up with friends, and slowly work towards getting back to work. So to answer your question, Charlotte, but I would say again, it's each and every individual has to make that decision. But I do think it's important sometimes to get a bit of advice, because sometimes we're trying to make decisions, Charlotte, on our own, and they may not be the best decisions because we're going by what we think, if that makes sense. But yeah, I do think sometimes it's relevant and beneficial to have some time on your own. But I would say be mindful that you're not doing that as a defense mechanism, because you're kind of denying yourself help and support, which would get you into a good place. Sometimes you need to be alone to clear the thought and change your self-beliefs for better social life, and that's my experience. Yeah, that's true. I guess today I'm trying to speak for people who are isolating and it's not working for them. It's making them worse. Their mental health is deteriorating by the day because and it's getting harder for them to reach out and get help. Another useful conversation that really helps me, and I believe it can help any of you, and again, no pressure to apply it, I do think if you're gonna have some time out on your own because you need it, that's fine. But I do think there's a lot of value in at least communicating that with your support group or your friends or your community. Like you at least say to a close friend, look, at the moment it's not personal, but I need a bit of space on my own because I'm going through some things at the moment, and I think it will be valuable for me to have that time to obviously get my confidence back. And then at least people know, they know where you are, they know how you're feeling. I think that's important. Whereas if you don't tell people, people can get worried. You know, my family and friends have worried about me at points. I've worried about my clients at times if they're isolating too long, and I don't know what they're going through. So a lot of times we don't know what other people are going through, even if they're your family member, because they might not be saying. And I do think it's important in the best way you can to let people know what you're going through, whether that's, look, I'm depressed at the moment and I need some time on my own just to relax, recover, get my strength back, and then I'm going to start. Brilliant, that's fine. It's important. Communication is the key, as one of my good friends always said, and he's right. Let's get those questions. Do you have any suggestions for people like me working in or in a foreign country? For me, I'm working in Thailand. Your question, sorry, I'm trying to do it. Look, I would say it doesn't matter where you are, what country you're at, what your job is. Don't isolate for long periods of time. It's not good for you. So go to a group, go to an event, get around people. Even look, sometimes this has helped me as well. Sometimes even being at the gym, you might be around people at the gym and you don't know them, right? You don't have close relationships with them. You may not speak with them, but at least you're around positive people. You're not at home on your own. You're working out, you're in a community, and that sense of community is very, very good for mental health, and that's better than nothing. So I'd encourage people to try that. Charlotte says, one simply can't be in splendid form without a touch of social engagement. That's totally true. Isolation is dreadfully dull for the psyche. 100%, it's not good. Sometimes we don't even realize, me included, all of us, there's times where I may have even felt I'm in a good place. I actually believe it. People have said to me, or I've had this with friends, how are you feeling? I'm like, I'm in a great place. Life's great. I'm really grateful. I'm feeling as confident as ever. Can help anybody. But underneath that, I may actually be feeling really lonely, really depressed, and I don't even realize it, or we don't realize it, because we're in that pattern of isolation and we've gotten used to it. And you could say, yeah, there's positives in that. You could look at that in many different ways. You could go, that's actually great, because if someone can be, if someone can basically not be in a great place, but they're still feeling pretty good, then that's better than nothing. And I'd say that is true. But I'd still say again, sorry if I'm repeating, it's my OCD, we repeat a lot. That's still not great, because if you keep doing that to yourself, things are not going to get better. Like I said, for those of you earlier that joined this stream, this is a subject that I'm going to really, from today now, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to really stay on this and cover it, because I can't really think of a more important subject at the moment, especially around mental health, confidence, anxiety, building confidence, enjoying your life, than this. This kind of connects on all of them, all the things that that we're passionate about in this community, and the things that I teach and learn, and all the things that a lot of you are learning, and things that I'm learning from my therapists, from the therapy that I get, and from mentors and family, from everybody. Yeah, I'm not going to say the name, right, because of respect, but I've had a lot of friends. But a good friend of mine, I don't want to say, well, he's all my good friends are my best friend, but he's literally one of my best friends that I love dearly, still love. And even trying to learn from our time together and seeing times where my friend was going through a bad time in his life. And I remember he was isolating a lot, and I was worried about him, and his mum was worried about him. We were all worried about him. He was a really strong person, and like all of you, a very, very intelligent person. But he was isolating for a long time. And, when I go and meet him, I get him out of his house, and we'd go for a coffee. We'd go out for the day, and we'd have a great time, and he'd feel better, and I'd feel better. So for those of you out there, not only does it feel good for you to get the help and support you need, but it also feels really good to help other people, which everyone can. Charlotte says society can create unrealistic expectations or have a rigid social norms that make some people feel like they don't belong. 100%. That's it. That's the conversation of isolation that all of us go through, and we're trying to help one another to break that pattern. The pressure can lead to people withdrawing and isolating themselves. 100%. And that's why I've said, me and my friend spoke about this. Where was I with my friend? Monday, where are we today? Wednesday. Monday I was out with my friend. We had a lovely time. The whole day, we always have a great time. We speak about these things, right? Because we both care a lot about other people. We have a great time. And he said that, and I agreed. People feel like they got to be perfect. I just want to make a point of saying, I'm clearly not perfect. None of us are. You don't have to be perfect to go and spend time with your family and friends. You don't have to be a perfect person to go to the gym. It's not listening to that voice of anxiety, of intrusion, which lies to you and says, you've got to be a millionaire before you can go and meet your friends and family. It's like, let's laugh at that. Let's laugh that off. You've got to have a six-pack. You've got to be the best looking person in the world. You've got to have a billion followers online, and then you can go and travel. It's nonsense. It's not true. That conversation is negative. It's not you, and that's not true. A lot of confidence comes from facing your fears of isolation and disproving all these lies to be false. Sorry, I can't pronounce all your name, but says, yeah, I think nowadays technology, especially social media, has a superficial social connection. 100%. One of my good clients, I won't say his name because he wouldn't want me to say his name. He's a good friend of mine. He's from the States. He's traveled over loads of times, and we've got a good friendship too. And he spoke about that a lot. We spoke about that. That's true. So all of you are right. All the things you're saying are true. We're all saying the same things, but it's trying to get people in the habit of socializing more, to make it simple. And you do, I feel the same. As I said, I'm no different to anybody. When you spend a lot of time on your own, you start feeling lonely. You start feeling like you feel like you don't belong. Everybody goes through that. I think it's important to know that you're not the only one. We're all human. It doesn't matter what people are saying on social media. And I feel the same. We're all human. We all have the same inner conversation if you spend too much time on your own, like I said. Now, I know that I know every generation says this, and I'm about to say something that a lot of you are probably gonna throw your eyes up, and that's human nature. Look, in my generation, obviously it wasn't perfect, but one of the things that I love that we did, and it does make me sad a lot today. It is heartbreaking. We socialized more. Now, of course, we had our challenges. There were things that we didn't enjoy, but we spent more time in person. So if we did have anxiety or depression or social anxiety, or we had a lot of confidence issues, or we feared what other people thought, we had all those things, but we didn't think about those things so much because we were distracted having fun, doing activities, going swimming. I'd be at friend's house. His mum or dad would be cooking us dinner. We'd be playing video games. We spent more time together. Basically, it's simple. Where today, this generation and my generation, even the older generation, even older people, they spend too much time on the internet. They're not around real people. They're not getting real connection. I've just been reading social media, and I wonder if people mean what they say or they're just playing. I'm not quite sure. To be honest, to answer your question, I don't really have the answer to that, as I said, because it's different for everyone. I'm not an expert on medication, so I'm not a doctor, so I can't really give you the answer to that. Probably better for you to speak to someone who's an expert in that. But yeah, hopefully a lot more people today will watch this. Oh, sorry. Did you say meditation? I thought you said medication. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not an expert on meditation. What helps me personally, maybe people say it's for meditation, is exercising. That really helps to lower my anxiety and depression. And it gives me confidence. So I would say give it a shot, try it, and see if it helps. I think it's human nature sometimes. I know we all do it. Sometimes we overanalyze too much, especially on this community, and I do it as well. It's not always helpful. We want to know, does it work or why it works, but give it a try, see for yourself, and then maybe you can find more answers for yourself, because everyone's going to have different opinions. Some people are going to swear that meditation helps them, and that's great, and other people, I've heard people say it doesn't work. So you got to find the right practices and positive habits that work for you. For me personally, what helps more is spending time with my family, friends, helping people, and going for a run. If I go for a run in the park, I feel peaceful after. Or if I go and do some boxing on the bag, again swimming. So that'd be my answer. Oh, this coffee is strong, man. I had a coffee earlier on. Some of these coffees, I'm getting out of breath. So yeah, I'm just any few more questions. I'll go on for a little bit more. Hopefully the connection will be good, but I kind of wanted to do an hour today, so at least we've done an hour and get the ball rolling and start talking about this more. Because basically this is a conversation that I enjoy having in a positive way all the time, with my friends, family, clients. And it's just me kind of having this conversation a little bit more online to give people more help, more support. And basically to raise awareness on, not staying isolated for too long. I would even say as well, another thing that people can do, if some of you feel that it's too stressful right now, which I do understand, to be around people or large groups of people because you're a bit vulnerable, I'd recommend at least going for a walk in the park or getting out of the house. Even if you do that for 45 minutes, you'll feel better. At least you're not in your house all day. That's something that's always helped me, and that helps a lot of people. Then you might feel, well, I feel a bit better now. I've got a bit more confidence. You might feel soon ready to start, spending time with people more. And I do also understand that as well. Sometimes people, and I've been there, they don't have the strength straight away to just go, right, well, I'm at home, I've been isolating now for about 6 months or a year, and just today I'm just going to start going out and I'm going to meet my friends, my family. I'm going to go to the gym. I mean, that might be too much right now. That might be a bit too stressful. So break it down into small steps. And I do this in my own life, this approach. It works really well. It's a really good confidence builder. And it works with clients. Working with my client James at the moment, we're working together. I'm giving him some help and support with his anxiety, depression, confidence, and he's doing really well. He's doing great. So you may want to break things down and build up some strength and confidence, and then you can kind of like challenge yourself a little bit more, if that makes sense. Basically what I'm saying is, for people that are isolating right now and they're struggling and they're a bit scared, they're a bit too stressed to start socializing again, if you can't do that, then at least leave the house, go for a walk. I'm back, man. Good to see you, Alice. Sure. I says, I've got another problem, financial problem, unable to. I'm going to speak on that. I said it earlier on today. It doesn't matter how much money you got. Believe me. Listen, if you don't have any money in your bank account, if you've got lots of money, we all go through financial challenges. I'm going through financial challenges. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. But I'll say this. Your money is not more important than your mental health. Believe me, I've learned this the hard way. So your people that love you, they don't care about how much money you got. Like, I don't care about what my family's bank account is, or friends, or my client. I care about them. So your mental health's more important than your money. I'd say maybe that would be a good way of you getting more confidence to prove to yourself you don't need to wait for your financial situation to be really good before you socialize. That's another trap. That's another trap that a lot of people, including me, can fall for. And I'm saying this so we can not be judgmental. And I know a lot of men do that, because I've mentored loads of men, and I know what the male fears are. We've got to break out of that, man. People are good. People understand. Those that don't understand, those that judge, I just ignore them. I don't care what they think. I focus on the things that are right. So it doesn't matter, because money can always change. You can have no money today. You can get a job tomorrow and then your income's back. You can have no money. You can set a business up and you can do good, positive things. You can become a millionaire. That can change. And so mental health. So mental health's more important. Yeah. I'm going to read some of the questions. Charlotte was saying, the words get stuck in her throat, a lead and weight off her chest, the fear of judgment. Yeah, that's how people feel. We're human beings, seen as weak or crazy. Yeah, it's not true. Just slamming the door shut. It was like drowning in a crowd. Yeah. That's how it can get. Hello, Jonathan, my good sir. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for coming on. Anis says, what if nobody loves me in that situation? It's money's more important than your mental health. No, I'm sorry, I got to disagree on that. Money's not more important than mental health. But I understand how you feel, because this is what some people learn. But it's not. There's always people out there that love you. Believe me, there's a lot of good people out there. And I learned that on my journey. But I do understand what you're feeling, Anna. So believe me, I understand, because again, a lot of the anxieties that we have, most of them are not true. But again, if you isolate yourself, you start believing it. I've been through it. And I hope this can give people strength. I've overcame it and survived it. So can all of you, and many of my friends are. But I couldn't have done it without help, though, and good people. When you're on your own, your anxiety will say, no one loves me. I'm not good enough. I need a lot of money to be loved. I haven't achieved enough. All those things are not true. all those things, and just look at your life, look at all the people that have loved you, and ask yourself, would you do that to someone? You wouldn't do that. So sometimes we've got to go back to how we are. I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap about if I love my friend or my family or my client. My friend's got no money. Do you think I care about if my friend's got any money or not? I care about my friend. So you've got to get out of these negative perspectives and be truthful. Oh, great, man! I'm glad you found the channel. When did you find it? Today or recently? I just found your channel, Positive Affirmations for a multitude of things. You're welcome, man. I'm glad that you came on and found it. I'm really pleased with this live stream today because I wasn't sure how it was going to go, and I didn't expect it. It's gone great. I think everyone should be proud of himself. Really helping a lot of people. So yeah, isolation contains a lot of anxieties for both men and women, old and young, and a lot of the anxieties around money. I don't have a lot of money, therefore I can't socialize because I'm ashamed, I'm embarrassed, people will not love me. Not true, false. I'm not confident enough, I'm going to be awkward, in front of other people. It's going to be embarrassing. They're going to think I'm a bad person. It's not true. I need to be perfect first. I need to have every single degree from university, or I've got to have all these things in my life, and then I can socialize, and then people will love me. False, not true. I'll tell you what though, man, is right. I'm sorry. I'm generally sorry that you're going through a bad time. But what I am going to say, I am pleased that you are on the live stream and that you've had the courage, which I appreciate. I think everyone does. You've got the guts to come on here, which you're welcome to, talk about the challenges that you're going through and get some support from like-minded people. A. Lakey was saying, I totally feel that around my family when I can't pay my tab. Yeah, and that's because you're a good person, but that doesn't mean that's not true. I'll say it, man. Listen, again, everyone is an individual, but we're all the same. If it's bothering you, sometimes you've got to get it out, and that's, people appreciate that. We've all gone through that. We've all felt like that. I felt like that. If it's been a situation where I didn't have much money and I wanted to help my mum out financially or my dad, or I felt bad and guilty because I couldn't buy my friend a meal, and I would have done it but I didn't have the money, sometimes saying it makes us feel better, and the other person will always appreciate it. I will always appreciate it. Look, I've had it at times with clients before, friends. I've been out with a client, we've been doing a client session, and I like to be generous, how my parents brought me up, and my clients are generous. So let's say I bought my client a coffee, right? I want to do it. He doesn't have to get me a coffee back. I buy him a coffee on client session. We have a session. Next few sessions, my clients are very generous people, like all of you. So my client buys me a coffee, but then the next time he feels embarrassed because he can't afford to get me a coffee, and he tells me, you don't even have to feel that way. But maybe you've got to say that to take the stress away and then worry about what the other person's thinking. Because that's what it is. You're trying to second guess, and I go for it too. I understand. You're trying to second guess, oh, what is my family thinking, or I don't want them to think bad things about me, or that I'm greedy. That's why it's good to communicate, and they won't think that. But yeah, it is a hard time at the moment for all of us. I'm going through it, but we can get through it. Financially, there's a lot of stress. The bills are high. Tax, running a business or career, for everybody, whether you're employed, we're all going through it, man. We've got to speak on it. We've got to get some support, and then you get to a better place, and then we can work it out. But a lot of people are going through financial change. I've got a lot of friends, clients, even people, my heroes that I follow. We all go for it. Why? What's to be embarrassed about? It doesn't make you not good enough. It doesn't make you, oh, I don't deserve to be loved because I'm going through financial challenges. Sometimes you got to stop. You really got to look at that and analyze that, and go, is that true? Like let's really think about that and feel it. And you go, of course it's not true. You can't take your money with you. And what does money do if you're not feeling good? Hey Chris, how you doing? Truth be told, I'm just saying this. So I'm not saying all, but some of my best times, are when I was broke, when I had no money, or struggling financially. And some of you probably are going to be asking, I'm imagining, you're probably going to ask me, why was that? And maybe I can't even give you an answer. That's the answer. I don't know. Probably because there was no pressure, and I was around good people, and they didn't care about it, and we had no pressure. That's the answer. No pressure. Some of my best times in my, I'm not saying all, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not saying all the times. Of course, I've had good times of having money. Yeah, it's been nice because, like all of you, it's nice if you've got some money because you can help your parents out. You can pay your bills. You can buy yourself nice things if you want. You haven't got. I'm not disputing that, but it's not everything, because there's less stress and pressure. And when I was younger, a lot of the times I had some of the best times of my nan, when my nan was alive, because I didn't need to have money to be loved, but my nan loved me regardless of money, and my friends. So many good friends that I've had. So sometimes you've got to get proof that you are worthy and you are lovable, and people do love you for who you are and for not what you've got. And if people are like that, then they're not real friends as far as I'm concerned. They're not real friends. If they only love you and if people only love you and like you when you got money, then they're not going to be around very long, and that's not good. That's for me, that's I don't really know what more to say on that. They're not real friends, but they're always good real friends that are not that way. Another perspective, that's really good, and I hope that a lot of you can hear this correctly. Look at people. I'm not saying I'm one of them, because compared to others, I've relatively not that much money. But look at people that have had loads of money, and they're not happy. They're miserable. Well, if money was so effective, then why would they be unhappy? But they're not, because it's not everything. Of course, we all need to get by, and we need it, but we don't need it more than the things that are really important, and that's one another, and that's your friends and family, and yourself, your community. If I'm at the gym, I talk to nice people at the gym all the time. They talk to me. I've been going to the gym regularly. I don't say to the person, this is hilarious. I don't say, well, hang on a minute, before you start talking to me, I need to know how much money you've got. I mean, I don't care about how much money they got. I actually care about how they are as a person. The kind of heart that they got. That's important to me. So I hope this helps a lot of you to kind of overcome that fear of, feeling that you have to have a lot of money before you can spend time with your own friends and family or your community, because you don't. Wake up each morning grateful and say, I expect miracles this day. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's good. One of my professors taught me this. He said, buying into UBC, unexpected benevolent change, wake up each morning, thank God. I think that's beautiful what your professor said, and I really agree on it. That's a great attitude. That's something that money can't buy, and that's gratitude. It's a great stream today. All of you, everyone's helped to create something positive. you know, even sometimes on this channel, I do understand some of the people in the community will say, well, Jonathan, you know, I don't have any money to join the gym. And I've been there, nothing to be embarrassed about. And I'll say, well, you know what? Go for a run in the park. It's free. How amazing is that? It's free. You can go and run in a beautiful park and it doesn't cost any money. You can do some push-ups at home. You can go for a long walk. There are a lot of resources that you can do right now to improve your confidence that don't require money. And at some point, those of you that are struggling, you'll earn money. You know, it changes. Ice says, I have one problem. I like to separate people like this in my colleagues so we can't be friends, or this person have the same action, and I don't like to, sorry, I'm too picky. Well, I think that's okay, moderation. I think sometimes, yeah, you obviously, you know, you got to be wise about who you choose to have in your life. But I'm trying to explain, we don't want to let that become a distraction, and I will speak on that in videos more. Sorry, you lot, the battery's really low. It's going to run soon. To be continued. I might try and do a stream later on if I've got time, but we've covered a lot. And as I said, I will continue this conversation. This video live stream is not going to end today. It's an ongoing thing, but I've really enjoyed it. I hope all of you enjoyed coming on today. It's felt really positive getting this out and helping one another, and hopefully a lot of people won't feel alone in their aloneness, and things will start to change. I hope it helps some of you and it doesn't put pressure. And please don't compare yourself to me or anyone. But if you need a bit of encouragement, you know, if you go on my Instagram page, I put a lot of my training up there to help people, and you know, to motivate you to start exercising and training and getting back into a better place, more confidence. It would be great as well. I'm going to hopefully try and organize it this week for next month. I'm going to start doing my regular in-person meetup, so all of you can join and, you know, meet in person and go for a coffee, and we can, you know, I can do a mentoring session. You can get support and have a great time. I've ran loads of these events throughout my time, and it's really helped people, men and women. Really good going to events, getting out and being around like-minded people. One of my clients, Phil, that I'm mentoring, he's doing great in his business, and he does events. He does events every month for men and women that have got social anxiety, and helps them with their confidence. And he's having great success with it because it's getting a lot of people out of isolation. And you do build confidence from speaking with people and having that regular, you know, social contact and communicating in events. It helps a lot. Any final last questions? As much as I want to keep going today, the battery's going to run, and I've got to do some gym today and organise. I've got a client tomorrow and sort of do some planning for my business. So any last questions before I head off? Again, I really appreciate everyone coming on today. If you enjoyed it, you can subscribe, and hopefully people will take some advice, or hopefully I think it's helped a lot of people just to get things out that are bothering them, and just to share their ideas and how they feel about the subject of isolation and building that confidence back that all of you deserve. No more last questions. All right, man, enjoy the rest of the day. As I said, I'm going to try, if I can later on, if I've got time, you're welcome. I'm going to do another live stream, if not today, maybe start doing these dailies. But like I said, for all of you that were maybe wondering why I weren't doing videos every day, I had about 9 or 10 days out today. It felt really good from social media. Those of you who join this live chat, don't forget to like the board. I appreciate it, man. Thanks, Terry. I really appreciate it. Really kind of all of you to do that. And yeah, we'll continue on with this, as I said. And I'll say a last thing, and I say this to my clients, and my therapist gives this to me. try and be compassionate, all of you, to all of ourselves, and try not to judge yourself too much and put too much pressure. Just one step at a time each day, because it is a difficult time for everyone, and the last thing we need is more pressure and stress. And just try and enjoy the day and just see where it goes. All right, speak to all of you soon, and I appreciate it. See you soon.